For those of you I haven't met yet, I'm Michelle. I am a lifelong labor organizer and activist, and I now work at the Center for Labor and a Just Economy, thinking about the power relationship between technology companies and working class communities. And I have Data and Society to thank for my ability to do that. Since Data and Society has been founded, I have used their rigorous and human-centered research to help me, a person who has no socio-technical background at all, make sense of the stories that workers were telling me about the things that were happening in their workplaces as a result of the use of software. And I really taught myself, reading papers from Data and Society, how to think about that, and then was so warmly welcomed by the network of people in Data and Society when I called and asked my sometimes inane questions about what to do about a certain technological system. I always felt a sense of warmth and kindness and shared curiosity about the world around us. And that network and that work together has really netted some results. People like me, who have been working inside social movement institutions alongside researchers and policymakers, and many people in this room, have been engaged in a joint project over the years to really figure out how we address the unchecked, concentrated power of companies in the state that have perpetuated harm against vulnerable communities through their use of technology. We have built expertise and capacity inside unions and advocacy organizations. We have used a combination of big public campaigns, collective bargaining contracts, and regulatory enforcement to push back against that power. And it has been incredible. It has happened relatively quickly, and we have built this growing field together. And yet, what do we know? It's not enough. Not that many people have collective bargaining contracts, we definitely know that. And the administrative state has been severely restrained by the Supreme Court's decision to destroy it through a series of rulings over the past summer. So we're in this moment of having worked together and needing to think very differently about the future and how we're going to do our work moving forward. And that different thinking really requires us to have a vision where we are able to articulate what it would mean for people to have democratic control over the economy, which includes control over things like innovation policy, the use of semiconductor and chip technology, the way automated and predictive systems are or are not deployed, and deciding whether we want our country to use its wealth to continue to engage in surveillance, colonialism, war-making, and extraction. And I think we have work to do in terms of asserting what that vision could be. I don't think we lack it. I think anyone engaged over the years in this work has something inside of our hearts and our imaginations that we know, we can see, that we want to get to, but sometimes we're scared to say what those things are because we don't know exactly how we're going to get there from here. And we can't actually know without welcoming even more people than we already have into our process. We have to expand our remit to invite people to develop our vision together and to start in places where we don't really know what's going to come at the end. We have to really start thinking about how we're not just researching harms, but imagining going somewhere together. And enacting that going somewhere together in forms in small ways every day in the way that we relate to the rest of the world until those pieces start to take hold. There is no plan. There will not be a plan. There is just us building a movement in acts of welcoming, curiosity, and care. And that is lovely, but it is grounded in nothing. So now I'm going to give you a plan. I want to offer everyone a kind of midpoint in time in this foreseeable future to think about how you might start organizing your work tomorrow or even tonight. Brother Sean Fain, the president of the United Auto Workers, has encouraged as many unions as possible to set their contracts to end on May 1st, 2028, thus setting the conditions for a real general strike. And here's the thing about general strikes. They are not about the details of a single contract. They are about a vision for a better world. When people march during a general strike, what they are marching toward is housing and clean water and time with their families and the things that make our lives truly better. They are marching, as the song goes, for bread and roses. So what would it take for all of us on May 1st, 2028, to be part of that vision? For there to be a vision of public technology systems that are accountable to people, that are controlled by people, that are democratically owned by all of us. Who do we have to be in order to be part of that story? How does your work become different tomorrow if you know you want to be there in 4 years? How are you preparing for the day after when we've won? We know that the power of technology companies is directly embedded in the structure of the economy, and we know that removing our labor from the economy is the single most powerful lever we have. So let's put those things together. I invite all of you into this imagining work. I invite all of you to join a cohort thinking about how we're actually going to build toward this midpoint in the future. And if you feel like it's too blurry and it doesn't make any sense, I'm just going to leave you with a little bit of inspiration from Starbucks. So I spent 10 years organizing with Starbucks baristas. Over the past couple of months, I've been talking to a lot of the people who unionize their stores about how unionizing changed their relationship to their communities and to democracy. And every worker I talked to, from Nashville to Tucson to Seattle to Long Beach, has said basically the same thing. That when they started their organizing and they were inspired by the first store in Buffalo, they said to themselves, it doesn't have to be this way. And when they started talking to their coworkers, the conversations always started with, it doesn't have to be this way. And they didn't know anything else other than that. But knowing that it doesn't have to be this way created a framework for them to get up every single day and build to a union that includes 500 stores today. Thank you.